Hey guys, welcome in on a very happy Friday. We are off and running. Welcome back to the NBA Tip-Off Show powered by WagerTalk.com. We've got some dogs we're taking a look at here tonight. We also have a couple of best bets, including a prop or two that you may be interested in. So plenty going on in the NBA coming out of just a two-game slate last night. But boy, oh boy, have we got plenty of tickets to cash here tonight. We're going to do it with three of the best at WagerTalk.com as Skee Profit back in the house here on a Friday. Mr. Ronald Kabang ready to dish out a few more winners. And we welcome back on his first show this year, Mr. Andy Lang, the prop god, is ready to go. And so are we, gentlemen. Let us dive into it with the Contrarian play of the day. And for those of you that don't know, they're Contrarian gods. On the very first show a couple of nights ago, did in fact point us in the direction of the Charlotte Hornets. But Skee, in fact, thought it'd be great to double flip them off. And that puts our record this year on the show. Contrarian gods 1, Skee squadouche, nothing here. So we're just going to keep track of how many times Skee goes ahead and flips off those Contrarian gods. And we'll see if he's going to do it again as we get ready for the Utah Jazz as the Contrarian gods play of the day here. And Skee, talk to me here, man. We're coming right back to you. Tough break, that first one. What are we doing here with this one of the Contrarian gods? You buying yourself a little Utah Jazz tonight?
I think I can be talked into Utah Jazz. I don't want no smoke with the guys today. I'm going to stay out of the way. But I just feel like it's a little bit – this line feels very fishy to me. The Clippers were -9 in that first game. They win, they cover. The Jazz get absolutely demolished. And then now you get this short line for this game here. Something just seems a little bit fishy to me. So it's not a game that I love. I'm extremely biased when it comes to the Clippers in general. That's something that I'll admit. But I'll go with the guys today. I think that marketing and a lot of these guys like Taylor Horton-Tucker, Collins, they have a lot to prove this year. Those are guys who everybody else was kind of giving up on. So I think that they'll come to play. Whether the Clippers do is to be determined. So I'll take the +4.5.
Does seem like a very strange line there, Ronald. Are you buying it, though? It looks like, I mean, we're still seeing only about, 3.5, 4.5 is what it had moved up to here. And it's now we're down and we're looking at the latest line back to still 4.5 I'm seeing here. So what are we doing with a total of 228? Are you buying Utah tonight as the home dog?
Yeah, I mean, I like Utah. I do. I like them prior to the season. I think they're going to be another team that's going to be underrated. To me, we're looking at a Clippers team that really struggled on the road defensively last year, and they're sort of bringing in the same type of team here. Last season, they allowed opponents to go over their team total in 27 of 41 regular season road games. I kind of see that happening again here. The Jazz they're kind of like one of those teams that can score in bunches, right? You could see that in that first game against the Kings. There was a couple of quarters where they scored 30 plus in that quarter. I think the Clippers, obviously, they look great against the Blazers. I think the Blazers are going to make a lot of teams look great. But the Clippers turned the ball over 17 times, allowed the Blazers to grab 15 plus offensive rebounds. They let them score a ton of points in the paint. And these are things that the Jazz are going to be able to take advantage of. So I do like the Jazz here, actually, +4.5. I wouldn't be I'm not going to take the Clippers on it. Another thing to mention, too, the Jazz coming off of that loss to the Kings shot 51 threes, made 19 of them. I'm not going to expect the Clippers to throw up that many threes here and keep it close. The Jazz not keep it close in this game here. I feel like +4.5 is very doable for them.
So we got another backer of Utah. Those of you that are new to the show, by the way, you heard Skee mention he's a bit biased to the Clippers. Fun fact, Skee was the GM for about 2 weeks there a couple of seasons ago, as you guys can see. Very close with Kawhi and Paul George there. So the fact that he wasn't completely against the contrarian gods tells you all you need to know about how Utah should be taken seriously. Now, Andy, I need you be level-headed about this for us here. You're starting with a fresh slate with them. They like Utah getting 4.5. Are you buying it, or do you think the Clippers are just flat out the better team here?
Well, last year in the playoffs, if anybody else went out for the Clippers, Skee might have played for them. They were short on bodies. He might have been player coach out there. So hey, you know me. I don't cross the contrarian gods. No way. Yeah. Go Utah. Go Utah. I need some good karma on my side. I agree with what Ronald and Skee said. Ronald touched on a little bit. The 3-pointers is what we could see a little regression here on both teams. Jazz only shot 9 of 28 from threes. Clippers 16 of 34 in their game. And Kawhi and PG combined 9 of 12 from 3-pointers. So I would say that there's probably going to be a little bit of regression back to the mean on the 3-pointers. I mean, a lot of turnovers. That was the other thing. Paul George and Kawhi each had 4 each. Westbrook did his usual 3 turnovers. So 8 turnovers between 2 guys coming back. You could be a little bit rusty here. And listen, you're not going to adjust the line over Bones Highland, but he's a game time decision. He had 17 last game. So yeah, absolutely. 4.5 on the Jazz. And I might look at player prop Zubac over 8.5 rebounds. He had 12 last game. Actually, the centers did really good rebounding. Plumlee came off the bench and had 8. But Zubac, 8.5 seems a little bit low. That's his job. Get out there and rebound. So this 8.5 seems a little number. But absolutely, contrarian gods all the way. Jazz plus 4.5.
No Terrence Mann here tonight, right? Are you guys hearing that as well? Terrence, no Terrence Mann. Utah did cover 3 of 4 last year against this Clippers team. So the contrarian gods think Utah might be a side to be looking at here tonight, as we'll focus our attention on a featured matchup here. And boy, oh boy, it wasn't too long ago where Sacramento was so close to beating the Golden State Warriors, and then they threw up all over themselves here, Skee. But they do have an opportunity to exact a little revenge. You were big on this last year. I know you had a trend for us about teams that lost in the playoffs, playing early in the season, that kind of revenge. Are you buying it? Is Sacramento ready for Golden State here tonight? It's not a very big number.
Yeah, I don't have the exact numbers, but I do remember the trend, and it was a little bit above 70%, maybe like 71, 72%, for them to get a little bit of that revenge. And not only did they knock them out and end their season last year, they already whooped on them once in the preseason. So it's still fresh in their mind. And I think this is a game that the Kings care about 100% more than the Warriors. Last year, the Warriors were not a good road team. They're also going to be without Draymond. Kerr has to figure out the rotations over there, whereas the Kings, they have a lot of consistency with their roster, and they're hungry to show that, last year wasn't a fluke. So I like them in this spot. Minus the 3, I think is no problem.
Seems kind of short there, Ronald. Are you looking at it the same way here? You think Sacramento's get a little frustration out here? They looked really good in their first game, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, they did. They definitely did. But I think they're, that the whole regression thing that Andy talked about with the 3-pointers, they shot 19 of 51 in that game against the Jazz, and I just feel like the Golden State Warriors, especially with Chris Paul, I think they're a better perimeter defense. They have a better perimeter defense than Utah, so I think that might get limited here in this game. So one thing that I could see really, I mean, this game from a side perspective was already tough to begin with because the line was so short, and then the total was super high. And you would expect a high scoring game between these two teams, but I feel like 238.5 is still a little bit too high. They can get 236 and still go under. Last year, if we look at both of these teams, the Kings actually covered 7 of the 11 matches if you include the playoffs against these teams, but they only won 4 of them because they were favored by they were only favored in 2 of those games, and they went 6-4-1 to the under. They split the games of where the Kings were favored. This is just a really even matchup between these two teams. I know Draymond's out, Chris Paul's new to the lineup as well, but they just match up well in my opinion. I think this is one of those games where you could probably look at it in each half. I would say first half over, the second half under. I think the first half they're going to have a lot of energy. I think they're hyped to get into this matchup because they don't really like each other. I can see it like a fast-paced game, and then in the second half, as the game tightens and the fourth quarter happens, we're going to start to see a little bit more defense, and that's why I kind of look towards these two halves being totally opposite: first half over and the second half under.
All right, love the approach there. Andy Lang, my man, there's got to be a couple of props maybe in this game. You're looking at either backing or maybe fading here. How do you approach it?
This is just Golden State on the road. You just fade Golden State. There, Joe. When I was in my 20s, if a buddy called and was like, "Hey, let's go out," I was like, "Yeah, sure." And now I'm in my 40s. If someone calls and it's like, "You want to go out?" I'm like, I don't know. I kind of want to stay at home. That's the Warriors. They're older and they just want to stay at home. It's a lot to get them out on the road. 30-11. If you would have just bet against Golden State, you would have gone 30-11 last year. So and two of those wins, by the way, for Golden State were the last two games of the season, which were meaningless. They had that weird neutral site game against Portland where they put up 157 points. So I will just keep riding the trend. Golden State on the road, I'm taking their opponent. Speaking of on the road woes, Klay Thompson, I'll take him under 18.5 points. Last year, he scored 24.4 at home, 19.2 on the road. Chris Paul's taking a lot of shots. He was 3-11 from threes last game. Did not take one free throw attempt. I think this Warriors is going to work on their rotation and try and figure it out. They staggered Steph and Chris Paul quite a bit last game, and I think they're just going to keep working on that. So a lot of unknowns on the Warriors until they figure it out. They're a fade on the road, from in my opinion, this season.
Skee, let me ask you, man. I mean, it's early in the season. Is there any reason to think this trend stops with, their ability to be really good at home? But we got to still be, especially without Draymond, right? Not much should change here early in the season.
Yeah, well, is there something that can change? Well, last year they came into the season with a lot of distractions, and this year it's not that many distractions. It's just going to be a matter of if they can stay healthy and figure out how to play together. So I do think it will turn around. It won't be as drastic as it was last year, but as of right now, with Draymond off the court, I'm not willing to think it starts today.
I love it. That's a great point there. All right. Don't forget, if you're new here to WagerTalk TV, make sure you hit that subscribe and like button. If it is NBA content you're looking for, it's NBA content we've got for you. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button if you're joining us here during the live telecast. You guys, big shout out to catch you slipping in the house. Sean Evans here. Have Cash, the old crew back in the saddle again. Make sure you hit that like button, but certainly become part of the WagerTalk TV family. Hit that subscribe button as we get ready to talk some totals here with our overtime segment. And we mixed it up here. Instead of taking a look at the largest total on the board, how about one of the lowest totals on the board here right now with Toronto taking on the Chicago Bulls? Anybody who caught that Toronto Minnesota Timberwolves game, much like watching paint dry. This one is like 217.5 right now. So, Mr. Kabang, kick us off here. Is it too low for you? Is this over or not? What are you going to do with this matchup?
Yeah, I actually like this play as far as the total. This was actually a client play. I gave it out to clients yesterday. I took the under in this game. It's one of those situations where like it was game one, and the Bulls already had a players only meeting. Like there must be something going on in the locker room there. There's some type of negative, the morale there is definitely not high to start the season. Another thing to mention, they don't have a true point guard. I mean, I think they have Kobe White starting at that position, but he's not really a playmaker. They just got a bunch of shooters. They got a bunch of scorers, but they're really missing someone like Lonzo Ball. I feel like even last year, you could tell how big of a difference they were, they played with and without him. I think the thing that they'll struggle with against this Toronto team too is that mid-range game, which is what DeRozan really lives in, that mid-range game. And Toronto has a lot of length. They have depth and length. They got guys who can kind of rotate in and out in that wing position to guard DeRozan there to guard a couple of the other guys as well. But to me, I think their defense is legit this season. The length is going to be a problem for a bunch of teams because the Wolves, they're definitely one of the better offensive teams in the league, and they got limited to just 94 points. To me, the Bulls giving up 124 to the Thunder. I'm not expecting the Raptors to get up to that point, shooting 55% from the field or 50% from three. But to me, the pace of play, the defense on both sides, I think both offenses might struggle in this spot. From a trend perspective, it is the beginning of the season, right? Both teams are playing the first game of back-to-back games with travel involved, so road to home or road to road or whatever it might be. But what happens early in the season, what I looked at was within the first 5 games of the season in this type of situation, back-to-back and different arenas, the under has hit over 70% dating back to 2014. So the trends back it. I think logic behind it backs the under as well.
All right, looking still. Is it too low for you, Skee? Here, or are you in agreement that a little more defense? I mean, I don't think anybody expected Toronto to be some sort of offensive juggernaut here this year, and Chicago still seems like they're having some issues there on the offensive side. So, is 217.5 too low for you, or is an over in store in this one?
No, I think you can get under this number here today. I like what Ronald was saying, and Chicago, they didn't really give a great effort in that first game, and they were talking about it afterwards. They said that it was kind of disrespectful to the fans, and it was, they felt disrespected to be done like that at home. So they said, DeRozan, I think it was, said we should expect, 100% better effort from the Bulls tonight. So if you tell me that, and I just think about how this team was last year, I feel like they were pretty solid defensively, and we know the Raptors are capable on the defensive end as well. So I think both of them prioritize defense, and maybe, some of those starters, some of the guys we expect to score don't play as many minutes because they have to play again tomorrow. So I can get there with under 217 today.
All right, not low enough there. A little under action here, an agreement in that one. And Andy, no doubt, if we're looking at an under, there's got to be a prop or two in this game here. Maybe we're looking to fade as well. So what do you got for us?
Yeah, I'm glad Ronald brought that up. I was just laughing. It's game 1. They had a players only meeting. They're going to be like a consulting firm, just meeting after meeting after meeting. No, this is the meeting. We turn it around, guys. So yeah, I agree completely on the under as well. There's just a couple of clunky teams. When they played the Thunder, the Bulls did. SGA, he had 31 points, but nobody else had more than 16. And with all due respect, Toronto does not have an SGA type of score. Bulls' leading scorer was DeRozan with 20. They shot 28.6% from three. So, yeah, it's an under. And, the Raptors could be tough because they do spread the ball around a lot. But I was really surprised that Jakob Poeltl only had 3 shot attempts last game. He made all 3, but he only had 7 points, and they have his point total at 9.5. So he did good on rebounding, but he was not a part of the offense. He was not a part of scoring. Every other starter had 13 or more shot attempts. So I'm wondering if his role is just going to be very limited on offense for this season. So might take a sprinkle on Poeltl under his point total tonight.
All right, there you go. We got a couple of agreements to the under. We've got a prop there for you. And now, of course, it is time. One of our favorite segments from last year. We're bringing it back. Why? Because I do believe the dogs here, folks, are going to be barking.
That's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. And anybody got to say anything, you let me know. That's my dog.
Oh, let's take a look here. Plenty of dogs to contemplate here. Knicks, Grizzlies, the Miami Heat, Rockets, Pistons, Trailblazers, the Nets, the Raptors. We've got Thunder, and we already talked Jazz and the Warriors here. So it's pretty simple. We go around the horn here for those of you that are new to the NBA Tip-Off Show, and we try to see if maybe there is a game, one of these dogs that might be barking not only cover, but win outright here. So Skee Profit, kick us off here, my man. Some juice and not overly crazy numbers here in the first week of the association season, but still some dogs here that look worth considering, no?
I like a dog. The more I think about it, I haven't gotten there yet, but the more I think about it, I do like it. And I'll go with the Thunder plus the 4 plus 140. And it starts with just looking at the Cavaliers side. I mean, they very well could have and probably should have lost that game versus the Nets. Um, I am just not a believer in this team without Jared Allen to make up for everybody's defensive mistakes and to help out on the boards. OKC, um, they showed, that they're already clicking in that first game, the way that they handled business by 20 points or something like that. And I just trust the guys on that roster. Like, you have a banged up Garland, and if you tell me that, you could potentially be without 2 starters for the home team, I think OKC can keep it close, if not win. So just simple for me. OKC plus 4 plus 140.
Yeah, I got to tell you, Skee, I mean, it was a great call by you with Brooklyn in that game there, because you were pretty adamant about Cleveland, man. No Jared Allen, nothing for you. If it wasn't for that furious comeback there, they came up a little short, but they certainly got the cover in that one. So got OKC here tonight. Seems to be a little undervalued still in the marketplace. But how about you? Ronnie, where are you looking here as far as a dog might not only cover, but might be barking and win outright?
Yeah, last time we did it, I got the Pelicans, and they ended up winning outright. I think this is another game that I really like for the dog to win outright. I'm going back to that game we did on the overtime game, the Raptors. I like them to win this one outright. I mean, we talked about the possible locker room issues in Chicago. We talked about the possibility that the Bulls struggle against the length of this Raptors defense. The Raptors, they have a really strong 7 to 8 man rotation. The only person that really switched out of that rotation was Van Vliet for Schroeder. To me, I think the Bulls are still trying to figure out their guard rotation. They're three bigs that they have. They're pretty solid, but as far as like point guard, shooting guard, their rotation there is really off. You could see that in that first game. To me, this also just seems like a really bad matchup. It's like a matchup nightmare for the Bulls. If you go back to last season, the Bulls went under their team total in every regular season game against these Raptors. They just really struggle against the length of this team, and really it's because of the offensive style that the Bulls play, which is mostly mid-range, with DeRozan and Levine. And to me, this is a chance that the Raptors they should be able to win this one outright.
Ooh, all right, going with Toronto here as a barking dog. And Andy, how you looking at here? Any in particular props or dogs we should be looking at here on this card tonight?
Yeah, I get a team I kind of like versus a team I don't like. I'll take the Brooklyn Nets plus 6. I'm just not a believer. Yeah, I'm not a believer in this Mavericks team. One of my favorite team totals was under for the Mavericks. Luka Doncic had 10 of their 24 assists and 13 of their 48 rebounds, 33 of their 126 points. And it's just scoring wise, after him and Kyrie, it just falls off a cliff. And I don't like their depth. I will say I did like Lively. I enjoyed watching him. I think he's really good. I love his motor. He plays extremely hard. That's a guy I'll keep my eyes on. But I weirdly kind of like this Nets team. They're quirky. Ben Simmons did exactly what he should do, which is not shoot the ball a ton, but just be active rebounding and assist wise. You had Thomas go off for 36 points. I kind of like some of their pieces. Bridges didn't even have that good of a game. He only had 20 points, and they almost beat Cleveland. So getting this 6 points, I get a team that I kind of like, kind of intriguing to me against a Mavericks team that I'm not sold on at all. So yeah, give me Brooklyn Nets plus 6 is my dog.
All right, get the Nets and get it going here tonight. So there you have it. We've got a total. We got a featured matchup breakdown, the Contrarian Gods, a couple of dogs, and now it is the moment of truth. And before we get to our best bets, just a quick reminder, if you are new to us here at the NBA Tip-Off Show and Wager Talk TV. Hit that subscribe button. Go ahead, hit that like button, guys. Nobody is going to push out more NBA content all throughout the season than us. So go ahead, become part of that Wager Talk TV family. And those of you that are joining us live in the chat room, it's always a pleasure to see you guys. Welcome back. S. Warrior already making a case, Skee, for the Heat to win the championship again this year. Tell me you're shocked about that one there. Absolutely not, but it's a pleasure to see you, S. Warrior, back in the house. All right, let's do it. It is time for best bets, and those that haven't seen us before, we throw 60 seconds on the clock, and we give these guys the floor. They can do whatever the hell they want with that 60 seconds. Just go ahead and give us a best bet. So, Skee, nobody, and I mean nobody, drains more threes on the clock than you here, my friend. So start us off. Where are you going for a best bet?
Well, the one I was gonna use, I saw has already been taken. So I'm glad somebody likes it just as much as I like it, and I go in a different direction. And it's not gonna be very long-winded. I'm gonna go, and I talked about pretty much all the games I like except for one, and I can't give that one out because the line is already gone. So I'm gonna go back to the game we just talked about, and I'm on the opposite side here. I like the Bulls. I'm gonna be the person who believes in that player meeting, even if people think that they'll have it every single week. You know, for him to come out and say that, you got to come out and show it, and show some pride. So I'm gonna believe in that. You can't talk like that and come on the court and not back it up. So they're at the house. I know both teams play tomorrow, but I think Toronto has a much bigger game, or a game that they'll care about more than the Bulls versus the Pistons. So give me the Bulls -2. If you want my 5%, it's up and available, but that's what I like for my best bet for the show.
Oh, see, I told you, nobody drains more threes under the gun than Skee Profit there. That 5% best bet is at his page, guys. Visit him over at WagerTalk.com, as well as Mr. Kabang, who also has been known to pull up and drain a few threes under the clock here. So talk to us, Ronald. You got 60 seconds, my man. What's the best bet? Where are you looking tonight?
Yeah, I'm looking at the Pistons and the Hornets. I like this game to go under. I talked about this Hornets team on Wednesday and how I feel like their defense is legit. As long as Mark Williams is starting for sure, and LaMelo has that good length on him at the point guard position to defend opposing point guards. The Hornets, they're not a great three-point shooting team. Most of the damage they do is in the paint, and the Pistons have one of the best front court defenses in the league, in my opinion. The Duran, Stewart, Thompson, they looked really good in that game against the Heat. 3 of those guys combined, 9 blocks, 35 rebounds. They also got Bagley coming off of the bench as well. So I feel like the Hornets are going to struggle in the paint there. The reason the Pistons lost to the Heat was because of turnovers. And the Hornets, they struggled with turnovers as well, 19 in their game against the Hawks. So to me, turnovers means less shot attempts, wasted clock. I like both defenses and the fact that neither team are very efficient offensively. So that should lead to an under-type game.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Another draining of the three here under clock by Ronald Kabang. And then, of course, we've got the prop god here closing the show out for us with a best bet and a quick access code, guys. I believe it's Access 3. Andy, is that correct? Access 3. Use that code on Andy's page and get yourself a $20 discount on a 3-day all-access package. But he's going to give you a best bet right now, Andy. So 60 seconds on the clock. Where are you going, my man?
Yeah, that access code, been telling everyone, just wait until today to use it. We got a 5% NFL play that goes off on Sunday. You know me, Joe. Love my Formula One. It's a Formula One weekend, so we've got plays in Formula One. We've even got a cross-sport parlay, Formula One and NFL. Let's go. NBA, NHL, so just use the promo code ACCESS3. Get you $20 off a 3-day pass. I'm going to Ben Simmons over 13.5 rebounds plus assists. Everyone wanted to watch Victor Wembanyama. I was kind of anxious to see Ben Simmons. I thought he looked good. He's still scared to shoot, but that's not his role. He had 10 rebounds and 9 assists. He led his team in both categories. And against this Mavericks team, I think he's going to be able to have the similar success. He only played 23 minutes. and was able to do that. Only took 6 shots. I don't need points from Ben Simmons, and neither do the Nets. They have scores. They need him to facilitate, be active. Give me over 13.5 rebounds and assists for the rejuvenated Ben Simmons.
Woo! And hats off to Skee, by the way, all over Ben Simmons. Told us a couple of days ago, man, keep an eye on him. Ronald, you were in the same boat, man. A lot of undervaluing going on here early in the season. So all 3 guys on the same page. And there you got it here across the board. We got a little something for everybody. And we're not done yet with the NBA content as we head into the first full weekend of the NBA action. For those of you that are joining us live here, we certainly appreciate it, man. Don't forget to smash that like button, hit the subscribe button if you are new, but go ahead and click on the video on your screen right now, and you'll have access to all of our NBA content all throughout the week as we are off and running in the 23-24 NBA season. Best of luck with all your plays, guys. On behalf of Skee, Ronald, and Andy, we'll see you again on Monday with another edition of the NBA Tip-Off Show. Good luck.